you, Rodney.
Yeah.
Check came Monday.
Good. I'm glad you're here.
I haven't cashed it, but at least it came.
Shelley's gonna see if, or send out a form for, direct deposit so that there's no delay once they cut the check. She had it ready to go.
I don't want mine deposited. I want to spend mine. That's mad money.
You want it in your pocket, huh?
Betcha.
So she has that, she should be sending that.
Awesome.
Yeah, I really don't want it. I'd rather have to check than it's fine. Go spend that. It's mad money, it's fun money, it's play money, it's.
Okay, we're on.
Okay, we're on. All right, let's start this meeting. Call meeting to order. Do we have any announcements? It's so weird to be here. I just don't know what to do with being live. Okay, minutes. Did you guys all read the minutes? Anybody want to make a motion on the minutes?
So moved.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Steve, second by. Okay. In favor.
Aye.
Shella.
The sound is big.
Can you hear?
I can now. Yes, aye.
Adam.
Aye.
Jeff.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Report on council action.
So, Chair and Commission, I should have mentioned this under announcements, I guess, but I just wanted to remind everybody that the September meetings are a little different. That first September meeting, because it follows right after Labor Day, instead of meeting on a Tuesday, we will be meeting on a Wednesday because City Council will meet on a Tuesday. So that will be the 9th of September instead of the 8th of September. So please, please just let me know if that's a problem. I'm not as good at following up with all of you as Sylvia was, and so I'd appreciate just a quick email letting me know if you can't make that Wednesday. That's good, thank you. And then council items. There were only a couple of public hearings this last week. And really only one was something recommended by Planning and Zoning. That was the annexation and zoning to RS4 at 406 West Dooley Lane. And for Mason and Associates. And Commission recommended that that be RS6. After a thorough review by Doug Critchfield, found that their proposed development would work with the RS6 designation. And so the City Council approved it as recommended by the Commission.
Okay.
That's it.
Thank you.
Peggy, can you pull the mic closer, please? Okay, thank you.
Okay, business items. The subdivision final approval for Lost River Townhomes number 2.
Thank you, Madam Chair and Commissioners. The action requested from you tonight is the approval or denial of the final plat for Lost River Townhomes subdivision number 2. This project is located north. I didn't turn my presentation on. I guess I should do that so you can see what I'm talking about, huh? All right, sorry about that. Oh no, it's gonna do this to me now. Okay, you guys can't see what I'm seeing, so I'm glad. Okay, so this project is located north of East Cherry Lane and east of Idaho Center Boulevard. It is located inside the city limits and is zoned GV2. It is bordered on the north and south sides by city-zoned RS 8.5 properties, on the east side by RS 12 zoned property, and on the west side by GB2 property that is phase 1 of this same subdivision. Annexation and zoning to RS 8.5 and the development agreement were approved in December of 2005. A rezone request for a small portion to be rezoned RS 8.5, a development agreement modification and preliminary plat for Lost River subdivision was approved in 2017, and another DA modification and preliminary plat were approved for the Lost River Townhomes portion of the Lost River subdivision in October of 2019. And phase 1 of Lost River Townhomes was approved in March of this year. So this development proposes 24 residential lots. They are attached units and 2 common lots on 1.99 acres and is the last phase of this subdivision. The findings in this case are that it is located in the city limits and zoned GD2. It conforms to the approved preliminary plat layout, and it conforms to the applicable subdivision and zoning standards for Nampa. There were no other comments received by this department after the staff report was submitted. Staff feels it's appropriate for this commission to recommend approval of the final plat for Lost River Townhomes Subdivision number 2 to City Council with the conditions as listed in your staff report. I will stand for any questions.
Anybody have any questions for Christie?
Oh, I will shut this off. Sorry about that.
It's okay, you just have to look and see if there's anybody on there that wants to talk.
All right.
All right, what do you guys want to do?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the subdivision plat final approval for Lost River Townhomes number 2 for 24 single-family lots and 2 common lots for 12.1 dwelling units per gross acre for Nampa North LLC with all conditions of staff.
Favor, Steve. Did you hear anything?
I can't hear anything.
Matt,
Aye.
Adam,
Aye.
Jeff,
Can't hear you, Jeff.
Hold on.
Yes.
Okay, yes.
yes, okay.
Did you
Brad,
hear that?
yes.
Aye.
Tom,
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Did you get my eye?
We did. Thank you.
Now I hear. Okay, business item number 2. Final plat approval for Summit Ridge, number 4.
Okay, Madam Chair, Commissioners, Doug Critchfield, Principal Planner. The measure before you this evening is a final plat recommendation to the City Council to either approve or deny a final application for subdivision number 4 for Summit Ridge. The applicant is M3 Companies LLC, and representing is Mark Tate. The project description: this is a 21.4 acre parcel proposed to be platted into 61 buildable and 5 common lots located in an RS6 zoned area. It's located south of West Greenhurst and west of South Midland. This is a larger, let me get into the slideshow. I did the same thing here. So this is a larger version of the map. The property is located inside the city limits. It's zoned in RS6 and is designated in the 2040 comprehensive plan as a medium density residential with a gross density range of 2.51 to 8 dwelling units per acre. The project density, the gross, is 2.85 dwelling units per acre. and the net is 4.8 dwelling units per acre. I highlighted on the staff report a change to, or on the presentation this evening, a change to the staff report, which indicated a lower density level, but at the last moment, the applicant added 4 lots, which changed the density. So this is for your information. The land use to the north is RS7 residential, and to the east is RS6 residential, and Canyon County is on the south and west sides. This preliminary plat, annexation and zoning, was, and errors were corrected and was recorded on August 29th of last year, 2019. Phase 1 final plat came through on April 23rd and was recorded on April 23rd, 2019, and phase 2 and 3 were recorded on September 10th, 2019. The findings of fact in this case is that this is located within the city limits in an RS6 zone. It conforms to the approved preliminary plat layout, and it conforms to the applicable subdivision and zoning standards for Nampa. And there were no other comments received by this department after the staff report was submitted. Staff believes it's appropriate for this commission to recommend approval of final plat Summit Ridge subdivision number 4 to City Council with conditions as listed in the staff report and any other conditions you see fit to impose. And I'll take any questions.
Any questions for Doug?
Yeah, Doug, with the change in the density, it still complies? Everything's fine with it?
Yes, Madam Chair and Commissioner, it does.
Okay.
Anyone else? Okay, what do you guys want to do?
Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we recommend approval of the subdivision plat final approval for Summit Ridge subdivision number 4 for 57 single family lots and 5 common lots for 4.49 dwelling units per gross acre for M3 Companies LLC, Mark Tate, representing M3 Idaho Greenhurst LLC, with all conditions of staff.
I'll second.
Was that Adam that seconded?
Yeah.
Madam Chair, may I make a correction? The number of buildable lots was 61. And it was corrected in the presentation, but not in the staff report.
Okay, it was motion by Matt, second by Adam. All those in favor, Steve?
Aye.
Michelle?
Aye.
Matt?
Who?
Matt?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Beth?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Okay, that carried. And we're past 7, so we can go to our public hearing item. Rodney is up this time.
Everybody working?
Sorry, with the technical difficulties, I'm having to load my jump drive again. Not sure. All right, can everybody see the screen now?
Yep.
Okay, great. So, Madam Chair and Commissioners, this project before you is one from city staff. And I'll go through the reason behind it, but basically it's to approve an amendment of Title 10, Chapter 1, Section 19, regarding the buffer that we've considered in the past for storage units to be located near other storage units. Thank you. Sorry, I'll try to speak up better. Okay, so just a little bit of history. June 3rd, 2019, City Council passed a moratorium on storage units. And that was due to multiple reasons, which I've listed there. August 26th, 2019, the City Council, Planning and Zoning Commission, and the Design Review Committee held a workshop where staff presented some ideas to consider for changes to our code during that moratorium. And essentially, the moratorium would end as soon as a new code was adopted. We had 6 months to do that. So included in that proposed ordinance was a 2,500-foot buffer for new storage unit developments. And that would be anything that was existing. So if there's an existing storage unit, anything new would have to be beyond that 2,500-foot buffer. October 8th, 2019, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing. We had testimony at that public hearing regarding the storage unit code changes. And the commission recommended approval with several changes, but one of those included removing the requirement for new public storage facilities to be located a minimum distance of 2,500 feet from an existing or permitted storage facilities property lines. You felt, or the commission at that time felt, that it was an overreach of government and should be left to the market to decide how many storage units get developed and where they should go. So on November 4th, 2019, the City Council held their public hearing and they approved all of the recommended changes except that all conditional use permits for storage units go directly to City Council for decision. So that's why you haven't seen a storage unit before you since that time. Following the code changes, there were multiple storage unit developments that came before City Council. And it became clear that City Council was a little bit frustrated because they were limited by city code and state code regarding the approval or denial of a conditional use permit. So there's certain criteria, which I'll go over. Basically, it's the same criteria we've looked at lots of times. Conditional use permit has to do with the livability of the area, appropriate development of the area. It can't be whether it's financially feasible for the city. That would be a decision about a zoning code change. So if you don't want to see storage units, you can create a zoning code change, but you can't base your decision for a conditional use permit on whether there's another property owner nearby that is going to be negatively impacted financially because there's competition. So that's not an allowed reason for denial. So the City Council kind of struggled with that for several different storage units that came before them. And then some City Council members after this last time and the mayor requested that the 2,500-foot buffer be reconsidered as part of the zoning code so that we would put that back into the zoning code. That would allow them to limit the number of storage units coming before them or that will come to the city. So that's why we're here today. So section 10.2.3D is the conclusions of law pertinent to proposed zoning ordinance text amendments. And basically I've highlighted the critical point there that the proposed amendments are or would be reasonably necessary in the interest of the public and in harmony with the goals or policies of the adopted comprehensive The comprehensive plan does address storage units and the need to put new regulations in place to ensure that they are good quality development and that we have guidelines for approval. It doesn't go into the specific guidelines that need to be included, though. So the proposed changes, I've placed that on the screen before you, and it's in your packet. And basically, it includes the 2,500-foot buffer again. However, it makes an exception for two-story or multi-story conditioned buildings, which have a mix of uses in the building, including restaurants or retail of some kind. So that would be an exception to that 2,500-foot buffer for those that are the buildings that are existing. So a good example of this is it's actually one that will come before you. So I better not go into too much detail, but pardon me, that won't go before you because it goes to City Council. But a good example of this then is the old Karcher Mall or District 208. They're requesting that some storage units be placed inside the building. It's already a building that's had design review. It's going through a normal process. Nothing really would look significantly different from the outside. So the idea would be that that would have an exception. They wouldn't have to have that 2,500-foot buffer because you're filling a space that otherwise would remain empty. So I've placed this slide. The recommended findings, the proposed amendments are reasonably necessary in the interest of the public and in harmony with the goals and the policies of the adopted. That's what you have to find if you recommend it. And the requested action for you there. And I would stand for questions. I do have a slide. I think I've shown you this before, the multi-story building. Of course, this is a new construction of a multi-story building, but and this would still need to meet the required 2,500-foot buffer if it was new. If it's going into an existing one, it would have that exception. Happy to stand for questions.
Monday, have a question. Just to be clear, we still will not be considering or voting on conditional use permits for storage. That didn't come back to us.
That's correct.
Why are we?
I can't hear.
Steve, you need to speak into the mic.
So we're doing this because of code change.
That's correct. So the reason it's before you today is because all code changes to our zoning code are required to go before this commission for recommendation to city.
Really no more or less work for us.
Correct.
Hey, Rodney, this is Jeff. So the city council just wants the 2,500 buffer changed. They still want the CUP to go direct for storage units to go directly to the city council, correct? They don't want the CUP changed to come back to the commission first, planning and zoning. It's just the buffer
That's correct.
that they want implemented.
And I should be careful about what they want when I respond to that. Don't know what they want exactly yet, but I've been requested by several commissioners and, several council members and the mayor to bring this before them for their consideration.
Okay, so, and maybe I didn't hear you when you were explaining this, but the reason that they're frustrated, because there is no 2,500-foot buffer, but the reason they're frustrated now is because there's no buffer is why? Why is that creating a frustration for them?
I can only speculate there, but my speculation is that there are more conditional use permits for storage units than they anticipated, and that they're limited in their ability to deny them because you have to use the criteria for conditional use permits.
Okay, so the 2,500-foot buffer is going to give them another tool to be able to use to kind of weed through those CUPs or to address those CUPs. So I understand that now.
Mm-hmm.
There's a little more structure as far as considering the CUP.
I think we'll see a lot less conditional use permits being requested because they won't be eligible with this 2,500 foot buffer.
Yeah. Well, and I think that kind of goes into exactly what we were thinking before, is that kind of limits the market, you know, the driving these conditions, the storage units, but
yeah,
I see where they're coming from also.
Hey, Rodney, I have a question. It's Ron.
Yeah.
So this kind of seems like a formality because, you know, we can recommend denial of their request, and can't they just do what they want anyway?
They can.
Yeah, that's what I thought. I still feel like it's an overreach, in my opinion. I guess we're not to public testimony yet, so I'll hold my thoughts.
So does somebody want to make a motion?
So we need to move into
Oh,
public hearing.
Do we have anybody here?
We don't have anybody.
Well, I just want
Motion
to, sorry,
Public hearing. Michelle, did you have something to say?
no, Madam Chair, this is Jeff. I was just going to kind of.
Sorry, it's cutting in me.
We couldn't understand that, Michelle.
I was saying my phone.
It's like her phone's struggling there. Yeah.
Jeff, what did you have to say?
Phone's been cutting out.
Well, I agree with Commissioner Van Acker about, you know, kind of eliminates that free market. I get where the city council members are coming from, and it kind of limits their ability to address some of those CUPs with as many that are coming. But I just don't feel that comfortable limiting them even further, where that kind of restricts the market. But I mean, do we want to see two storage units go up side by side next to each other? I don't know. Well, if the market can't support it, one of them is going to last, or maybe both of them aren't going to last either. So, and the whole CUP, I mean, is this going directly to the city council? I mean, Ron's right. If we recommend denial, I mean, the city council is going to do whatever they wanted to do anyway. So, kind of defeats the whole purpose of CUPs going to the Planning and Zoning Commission first.
Madam
Well, I think-
Chair.
Yes.
This is Tom. Yeah, I'm in agreement. I think it's too much of an overreach. That 2,500 feet is almost a half a mile. And in town of Napa, you start going a half a mile from the property lines of any public storage units, you're outside the city. I mean, you can't go, I don't think you could go. You'd have a hard time finding a place where you could put one that's not going to be within a half a mile of another one. And I think it's an overreach by the city council. I think those CUPs should come before the commission first. I mean, it shouldn't be one body that's deciding all this stuff and having their way with it. So I'm opposed to the idea, and if the city council decides to go against what the commission decides, that's on them. But as far as I'm concerned, I'm against this thing.
Exactly. And we've already visited this once and we gave them our recommendation. And so now they're coming back to us and saying, you're sure that was your decision? You don't want to reconsider? Which is, you know, somewhat offensive, you know?
Yeah, and they've brought us no new information. It's just the same information, change your mind.
Well,
So sorry, Jeff, go ahead.
I was just going to say, I think the new information that's come to us is the fact that there's how many CUPs have come before the city council. And I think that's interesting to see how many have actually come. And I don't know what that number is. But then if that buffer goes into place, how dramatically that number will be reduced. And that's what's concerning to me, is that free market, that restriction on the free market.
I think the thing is that when we gave them the guidance last time, we talked about the different parameters, the other things that they had, the other tools in their toolbox, that they can weed through some of this stuff. And they can address what they initially said was the problem, that they didn't want unsightly storage units popping up all over the place. Well, we gave them other tools that they could use to make sure that they weren't going to be unsightly storage units popping up all over the place. But it sounds like that it's just a number that they're having a problem with, and they want to go ahead and limit it. So again, if it's the free market, we've already given them the decision. So if we have to just go ahead and recommend that we don't approve of it, they can still do it, like Commissioner Van Acker said. But at least we're on the record as saying that no, we don't agree with this, because like Tom said, one body shouldn't be deciding all these all of the time.
Yeah, and just to kind of follow up a little bit, the fact that there's a large number of CUPs being requested for storage units, these guys do their homework and they look at the market opportunity, and that tells us that there's a viable market for more storage units because of all the people that are moving here and the different densities in properties that we're approving. So we raise the density, that lessens the ability for people to store their stuff at their home, so they need to go rent a storage unit. And it's a good business. And if somebody puts one side by side, a smart business person would say, look, this guy's going in next door, maybe I'll change use for my property or put it on the market and sell it again. But
Right.
I'm not totally insulted, but it's like, and Rodney, could you put the PowerPoint back up in that you put up, that kind of guide the findings, I guess you will, or I don't know what I'm trying to say here. Right. Reasonably necessary in the interest of the public and in harmony with the goals and or policies of the adopted comp plan. I don't think limiting storage units so they have to be almost a half a mile apart is in the best interest of the public. So anyway,
Well,
I'll stop talking.
No, that's good. I think, again, Madam Chair, this is Jeff. I think that, the city is concerned also about how much revenue that these storage units provide to the city. And that's always should be a concern, but that can't be a determining factor, because they're a good business for people who put these units in. They may not be an income generator for the city, but that really can't be a deciding factor on this. What is in the interest of the public is whether or not, I think, in my opinion, that we're providing an atmosphere, I guess, for healthy competition and free market.
Yep.
Whether or not, I guess, at some point, does that really restrict the revenue that it's going to bring into the city? Now I'll shut up.
Well, somebody needs to make a motion.
I think we need to close the hearing.
Oh, that's right. Nobody closed public hearing.
Motion to close public hearing.
Second.
Okay, motion by Brett, second by
Matt.
Matt. Thank you. Okay, all those in favor of close public hearing, Steve.
Aye.
Michelle.
Aye.
Matt.
Aye.
Adam.
Aye.
Jeff.
Aye.
Brett.
Aye.
Tom.
Aye.
Ron.
Aye.
Okay, public hearing is closed.
So, Madam Chair, I'll make a motion that we deny amendment of Title 10, Chapter 1, General Provision, Section 10-1-19 pertaining to zoning regulations applicable to storage land use, requiring a buffer for locating new storage facilities a minimum of 2,500 feet from existing storage developments for the city of Nampa.
Second.
Matt?
Yes.
Okay. Nine.
We can't hear you, Madam Chair.
It's been moved and seconded by Jeff and Matt to deny the request. All those in favor, Steve?
Oh.
Michelle?
Aye.
Matt?
Aye.
Adam?
Aye.
Jeff?
Aye.
Brett?
Aye.
Tom?
Aye.
Ron?
Aye.
Okay, will be recommended to council to deny this action. And that's it. We're adjourned.
All right.